Hello, I'm Leo. Welcome to headsinthecloud.tv.
Yeah, g'day, I'm old Swampy. I used to be on the bottle, then I got off it. It was very uncomfortable.
Hi, I'm Phil and I talk about tech.
Phil and myself got a little bit of mail and Swampy got a lot of mail. Here's one of the pieces of mail for me. Dear Leo, can we have more of Swampy?
All right, got an email here from Marco in Sunbury, suburb of Adelaide. He says, Dear Swampy, are you patriotic? Well, Marco, yes, I'm a proud Australian. I haven't fought in any wars per se, unless, of course, you count that price war over at Dan Murphy where Mickey Blake and I fought over that last bottle of $4 sherry. I won that battle, by the way. Well, yeah, I am a proud Australian. I'm particularly proud of what a multicultural society we are. I've seen all that happen firsthand here in Footscray, of course, because Footscray really is a microcosm, big word, of multicultural Australia. I remember in the early days it all started, the Italians, they come here first. They brought their pasta and pizza, yummy stuff. And the Greekies, they come with their olives. And you had the Chinese and the Japanese and the Vietnamese, they brought their noodles. And the Germans, they brought their comedy. And then we had the Indians and the Africans and, of course, last but not least, the Tasmanians. That was good. You know, I love a multicultural society because apart from anything else, more cuisine to choose from. You know, at the end of the day, when I rummage through the scraps, I can go, oh, I'll have a bit of noodle with me strudel. That's Australia.
Here's a bit of a news flash. Your photocopier is in fact copying every bit of data you scan or photocopy onto its internal hard drive. Available for anybody to pick up when they buy your second-hand photocopier. So if you're disposing of a photocopier or selling a photocopier, make sure that you delete the data off that hard drive. Or better still, put a 1/2-inch drill right through the middle of the hard drive. So this is obviously of interest to health departments, police departments, government agencies all over the world. There is an interesting video on this subject back on headsinthecloud.tv.
CRAP, Chronic Risk Assessment Psychosis. Apparently the term was coined by the father of risk analysis and he reckons now we've gone too far. Recently I was in a meeting and we got to the risk analysis part and another of the attendees said the 3 risks that we'd identified wasn't enough. And truthfully I was able to say that's crap, Chronic Risk Assessment Psychosis.
This one here is from Janine in Sunshine. He says, Dear Swampy, that is in fact a real name. It's a bit cheeky there, Janine. Do you like living in the West? Well, Janine, you haven't actually specified which West you mean. Do you mean Western society or the western suburbs of this fair city? If you do in fact mean Western society, well, I guess I live on the fringes of Western society, kind of the south-western regions of Western society. And look, you know, it's tough from time to time, but I've made it my own and I've coped. If you're talking about the western suburbs of Melbourne, well, yeah, I do. I'm a very proud Westerner. I love it over here. There's an ingrained melancholy that we have, and it's the battleground of the working class, or in my case, the non-working class. You know, and all those people that live in the east, they go on and they go, oh yeah, houses are worth more. We've got all these deciduous trees. When we drive to and from work, the sun's never in our eyes. But I think, oh yeah, okay, we've got a lot of native fauna, so we have to. It's hardier. The local council can't afford a spade. And it's more overcast over here, and they give us all the bad trains. But I think to myself, well, at least I'm not a tosser.
The focus group has no idea. The focus group was put together to find out what you never want to hear. And once that simple thought is clear, there are 2 ways to steer the conversation so as not to touch upon your fears. But is this the way to lead a nation? The doctors then can quarantine the patient and spin the English language in a knot. The motto being, just by repetition will keep you well away from truth when we reduce a complicated fix down to a slogan on the news at 6. And why has ideology become a dirty word? To me, it seems absurd to talk opponents down because their promises are grounded in ideas. As long as no one hears they have to change, we might just rearrange the way you view the hitch to think that it's a battle of the poor and rich. It's sort of like they've got the cart before the horse when marketing decides the best approach and tells designers where to steer their course to form a future plan delivered in a quote. Just so my position is entirely clear, I'd say the focus group has no idea.
Pop email is stuffed. Everyone's got multiple devices, iPhones, tablets, laptops, accessing email from multiple locations all over the place. And we all know what that means. Sent mails not synced, inboxes are different, all sorts of problems. Enter IMAP, Internet Message Application Protocol, a great way to sync email between devices from multiple locations all over the world. For most people now using IMAP, what this means is when they get home, email they've answered on their phone shows up as answered on their computer. Sent mail they sent on their phone shows up in the sent folder on their computer. Perfect.
All right, got one here. This is from Josh in Kensington, the Beverly Hills of the West. He says, "Dear Swampy, do you get lonely?" Oh, thank you, Josh. I appreciate your concern. I guess I'd be telling an untruth if I said there weren't times where I do experience feelings of loneliness, and look, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think we all go through that from time to time. When I experience it, it's not necessarily because I'm one of no fixed abode or because I get a bit cold in winter. I think it's something deeper than that. It's something that we all go through. I think loneliness, in a way, is the result of feeling you're not being heard sometimes. Because I think the loneliest I often feel is when I'm down at Footscreen, maybe at 6 p.m. on a Friday night. There are people everywhere, but, you know, people, they won't look you in the eye. And it's hard for anyone to listen or pay you any heed. And so I think being lonely isn't always about being alone. And there's 6 billion of us and growing who are going through this. But don't worry too much about it. As always, Master Chef,